Hello, welcome back to Freddy in the Shed. We're back up in the Radio Shack, and on the bench today we have a new model of radio from Retekess. This is the TR641. It's a budget model, and it's a bit different because it's a radio cassette player and recorder. Strange, isn't it, that you get that in 2025? I thought that tape cassettes were gone, completely forgotten about. But it turns out that these tapes, as they're now called tapes, not tape cassettes, they've had a bit of a revival over the last year or so, to the point where Amazon are now selling blank cassette tapes. Only in the normal BIOS level. They haven't gone up to, which we used to have, which was chrome and metal cassettes. But they're making them again. Cassettes are kind of back in. They've become trendy, a bit like vinyl was a few years ago. Maybe it's because of the film industry. I know things like Guardians of the Galaxy, they were made to be trendy and cool. So, yeah, manufacturers are now producing radio cassettes again. Who would have thought that? Quite remarkable. So, yeah, I thought I'd get it in and have a look at it, because this is a cheap radio cassette. It's £38 on Amazon, so it's just over pocket money, but it has a modern twist. So let's clear the bench and let's get into it, and I'll explain a little bit more. Not really much of an unboxing experience. All you get in the box really is a power lead, which is a figure of 8 power lead. The radio runs on 4 AA batteries if you don't want to use that, and an instruction manual. Now you might say, Fred, why would I need an instruction manual on a radio cassette? I can work it out. Well, this is when a modern twist comes in, because the radio cassette player has a built-in MP3 player and recorder, which means that you can record from your old cassettes and transfer them onto either an MP3 USB stick or an MP3 TF card. So it converts old to new. And I think that's quite a good feature. However, because of the radio is a mono tape and radio, it only converts in mono. Bit of a downer maybe if you're thinking of maybe converting some of your old music cassettes. However, it might be that you recorded perhaps some of your own audio cassettes, maybe, I don't know, Christmases, things, birthdays, and it might contain coverage of people that are no longer with you. So it might be that you have these cassettes, and with this you could transfer them onto MP3, onto a USB stick, and then maybe share them around your family, attached to an email or something. So I think that has a use, and that's really why you've got the instruction manual there to tell you how to do that. So just looking at the radio cassette itself, basic specs. So we've got the cassette player. It is, as I say, it is a mono cassette player, unfortunately, but it does have this. Look. How posh is that? It's got a dampened eject system, which actually feels quite nice. I haven't done this for years. Look at that. Now, I remember back in the day that you had to buy quite a posh radio, a little like Gatto Blast or something, that didn't have one of those clackety eject systems where you press that and it clackered open, your cassette fell out and everything. To get a dampened eject system, it's quite a thing back in the day. Now, when it comes down to the tape mechanism itself, yes, it is mono. I did a bit of research on this, and there's only, I think, 2 or possibly 3 mechanisms currently being made, and they're all pretty much basically the same. Obviously, there's some are stereo, and some have a proper deleting head. This one just has a magnet and a mono head. But that's a good thing, really, because although this is a budget unit, even if you spent maybe twice the money, the likelihood is you're going to get the same tape mechanism. So that's probably a good thing in a way. Just specs on the tape mech itself. With the tape recorder here, you can record from a built-in microphone, which is somewhere on the radio, so it's like a dictation machine. You can record, if you wanted to, from the MP3 player, and you can record from the AM and FM radio. Obviously, it's going to be in mono. On the other way round, with the MP3 player and recorder, you can record, as we've mentioned, from the tape. Again, you can record from the microphone as a bit of a dictaphone or something, and also you can then record from the radio. Now, along the mono theme, the AM FM radio, even on FM, it's still only mono, even out of the 3.5mm headphone jack. I do understand though that the MP3 player and also the Bluetooth function, that is stereo out of the headphone jack, but just didn't quite stretch to the radio. The radio will connect to your phone and you can use it as a Bluetooth speaker. Doesn't work in reverse though, unfortunately, so you can't connect Bluetooth headphones, for example, or maybe an additional speaker. As far as the design of the radio goes, yeah, it's quite retro actually. Reminds me very much of something from the 90s, and suspiciously with this curved design here and this logo, suspiciously it does remind me of a Sony radio from that era. In fact, that logo looks like a complete copy. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's got a metal speaker grill on the front here, quite a small speaker. I'm not quite sure of the size there, but it's a 1 watt 8-ohm speaker. But I mean, this isn't hi-fi, we're not expecting great sounds out of it as long as it's quite clear. Moving on to the top of the radio, these are your tape cassette piano keys, which I think is part of the retro feel. They've got that really clunky, which you probably, if you're about my age, you will remember. Only thing it hasn't got is a pause button. So when you used to queue up the radio, do you remember when you would be doing the top 40, you'd press play and record and you'd hold it on the pause button? We haven't got a pause button on this radio. Next to that, a simple band switch for the FM and AM radio. Now the AM FM radio, yeah, it's about as basic as it comes. You're tuning VFO, if you like, or your tuning dial here. Looks like this goes straight onto what would have been the variable capacitor back in the day, but a digital pot now. And you can see around the outside, it might not come out on camera, but you've got the frequencies there. So yeah, it's a little bit basic, but it saves money, I guess. I haven't had to put a tuning dial in because that's taken up by the MP3 player. Simple, quite decent. Telescopic antenna, about 50 centimeters in length. It has got 360-degree rotation. So nothing wrong with that. Round to the back of the radio. Yeah, not much going on here really. Yeah, quite a flimsy carry handle. Skeleton design. I wouldn't really put too much force on that. I suppose it's there, but yeah, a little bit flimsy. No kickstand or anything out of the back of the radio. And then the little compartment there for your 4 AA batteries does have a ribbon for helping you get them in and out. And then on this side the radio, headphone socket, TF card socket, USB socket, and then we have a mode selection switch, which is quite important actually, especially if you're going to be doing the recording off of tape to USB and radio, etc. You need to make sure you get that in the right position. Personally, because that is quite important, I would have probably preferred that to have that on the top. It is a little bit tucked out the way down there, but that's where it is. Right, anyway, let's get some power to it and see what it sounds like. Oh, I almost forgot. On this side, obviously the power lead, but what is good is a proper volume control. At least it hasn't got one of those up and down jobs. It's a proper, feels like an analog pot. think we'll test the tape player first. Now, I tell you, I struggled to get a new old stock tape cassette. Originally, I fancied a TDK, get a D90 or something with a normal position. Just felt that aesthetically looked better. Do you know what? I tried on eBay and I was outbid twice trying to get one. They're really strong prices for a new old stock. So in the end, we picked up this Sony HF position normal. There is a genuine 80s or 90s sticker on it. It says £3.95 from Gremlins Discos. Just shows you how old this is in its cellophane case. We'll open that in a minute. And then I had to find a tape that I could play on the machine which would not hopefully hit a YouTube copyright. don't laugh. I came up with this. I searched charity shops because tape cassettes, at the moment at least, in charity shops are incredibly cheap. Typically 50 pence each. And incidentally, audiobooks as well. You can get a whole sort of collection and a stack of audiobooks with like an elastic band around and maybe 5 or 6 tapes for a couple of quid. So it's probably worth it for the audiobooks. We got this one, which is the very best brass bands. It probably is a bootleg copy. Most of them were. I don't know what year. Oh, 1995. There we go. Now, if I get a copyright strike on this, and I won't know until I upload the video, I'll be very disappointed. I'll have to mute it. I do apologise for that if I do. So anyway, eject. We'll put in side one, and then we'll see how the rewind works, whether it has the stopping mechanism at the end. And rewind. Oh, I thought it had a tape counter for a minute. So we have this come on. I don't think that's too slow for a tape counter. It seems to be counting ahead there for some reason. Not quite sure what's going on with that. And the tape has come to an end, and it hasn't got the automatic stop on the mechanism itself. That was something that the older machines had. Okay, so volume on the side, isn't it? Okay, let's play this 1995 tape. It sounds alright, doesn't it? It sounds, it's loud enough. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this timer here. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that. If I stop the tape, it just disappears. It just seems to be a timer. Let's just go forward a little bit. Yeah. It's not really corresponding to the tape itself. Okay. Let's try a bit more. Sounds alright. Okay, let's eject it. There's no auto reverse on this mechanism, unfortunately. Let's put it back in and let's see what's on side 2. Okay, I mean, you know, that sounds okay for brass band music. There's not much bass, as you'd expect. Very clear though. very clear indeed. Yeah, it works. Right, I think next we'll try the little TF card and see what it sounds like with an MP3 track. Right, we'll see if it starts playing as soon as I push in the little TF card. I normally do. And there we go. It's just crappy YouTube music, unfortunately. So we can pause. Have a pause button, next, previous. And then we have the recording side of it. Okay, let's go back to let's go to the next one. Sounds right. That sounds okay. It only distorts when you get to the very end of the volume travel, but you can't moan at that, can you? That works fine. Okay, now I'm going to try and work out how to record from the tape cassette to the little TF card. Right, it all sounds quite simple. So you need to switch it to the tape setting. Again, this little switch on the side is quite hidden. And then it says start the tape. And then press record. I imagine the level is automatically adjusted. Right, to stop it, we press record again. And then I think we switch to the TF card. And then if we press file, there you go. That's playing back what we recorded. That's quite simple. Sounds pretty good actually. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable. As I say, you're not really going to play music on it. That was very easy to do. And that will be stored now as an MP3 file, and you can pull that off on your computer and do what you want with it. Okay, that's easy. See if we can perhaps do it the other way. We see if we can record from on the cassette from the little TF card. Time has come then to undo this new 30-year-old tape cassette. Last time I did this on a tape cassette was probably 40 years, because I gave up on cassettes once CDs came out. But this is taking me right back. Wow! Look at that! Look, I remember that. Oh, it's tight. It might have shrunk a little bit over the years. Really tight, actually. There we go. Do you remember this, when you used to get your cassette tape out and then you would be recording a mate's record, wouldn't it? He'd bring round an album or something, you'd be recording it, and you'd be filling out these little stickers, putting them onto the tape cassette. Yeah, that's really quite nice. I can sort of see the appeal once I've opened it, of these retro, the whole retro thing. I mean, it's nice to have something in your hand that perhaps you did when you was a lot younger. Right, anyway, let's shove it in. Side A, that one. So it says, shove it in. It says play and record. And then if I start the MP3 track, it should record it. Stop, pause that. I've got to switch it to tape mode, rewind. Yep. Shame it hasn't got auto stop on that, and then press play. Bit of a hiss. There you go. Well, it works. I mean, there is a bit of a hiss, as you'd expect. It is a cheap tape mechanism there. But it works, doesn't it? There you go. Quite a decent bit of fun. Right, what else can we test? I think we'll have a look at the radio and see what that sounds like. So switch the radio on. Just to switch on the side again. Switch to radio. Oh, AM, lots of interference. I'll have to turn the lights off. There we go. Sorry, it's gone a bit dark. So what you've got for the radio is the simple tuning dial here, and I've got a feeling this is going to be quite sensitive. Let's have a little flick.
What we've seen, I guess, is the sort of sitting in the financial markets, the rising borrowing costs. As Rachel Reeves was saying there, she's laying out very clearly that, you know, that there's a global in Germany. The Conservative shadow, Mel Stride, I mean, he was saying, you know, that this is a crisis made in Downing Street. It's to do with the budget.
Well, I think that's an element that you need to take in, and also, well, succeeding from Klopp, as you know, massive personality. I think that was just as.
Live on the radio.
Drive is brought to you by Pepe's Piri Piri. Fresh flame grilled just for you. Over 210 stores nationwide. There is one near you. This is Biker.
I think that did quite well. I'll tell you what, that's done better than some other radios that I've had up here on medium wave, because it does get a lot of interference up in the shack, but fair credit, that brought in some stations there, and I mean, just for like listening to the news or whatnot, that's perfectly usable. You do have to have a very sensitive touch. Might not be ideal for an older person. Okay, let's just try the FM. We shouldn't get any interference up on FM. Let's put the antenna up. See what it brings in on FM. You can hear the steps, you can hear that it's digitally stepped. Hear that? Now, interestingly, I've just noticed, because I wasn't picking it, FM starts down on 76 megahertz, which is sort of the DX band. Ours starts on 88, so there's nothing really going on down there, but it would be quite interesting in the evening. You could do a bit of DXing on it.
Take care. I need to Devon, the A361 at South Molton. Closed both ways. The accident is between Bishmill Gate at South Molton and the Rose Ash turnoff. I'll be back with you 30 minutes.
Bobby, I'm so sorry. Did the headphones
don't work.
it's a bit of a oxymoron, really, because he didn't have candles and he wasn't feeling great.
Sounds really clear for a little speaker. It's not bad.
Performed once in Paris.
It's good. What will hold me when I'm looking good enough? Did you ever fool me? Would you ever?
No idea what that is. Once again, you know, that's not bad. It's very, very fine though. The tuning more on FM than it is on medium wave. You can hear the sort of, I suppose it's DSP or whatever it is. It's digital tuning, but that's all right. That's acceptable. You could certainly listen to your Archers on there and get the news. I mean, for music, there's not much bass to it, but it's clear enough. I think the final thing to try out is the Bluetooth speaker. So it says to make it discoverable, you just press the Bluetooth BT button there. And then this should come up on my phone, so bear with me. There we go, yeah, it's come up straight away. No problem. I'm now connecting. I'm now connected. So we'll play a little audio book through it. See how it sounds.
One of Guskova's top experts, Georgy Selidovkin, had flown to Pripyat to assess patients on the spot and decide who should be brought to Moscow for immediate treatment. Many of those in the Pripyat hospital would remember Dr. Selidovkin because he had a beard, and that was uncommon in the Soviet Union of the 1980s.
That's all right, isn't it? That sounds really nice and clear. Like I say, it's probably not something you're going to play music through, but that works pretty well on audio. There we go. Quite a neat little thing, really, for what it costs. Let's do a little sum up at the end. And there you go. I mean, it does what it says on the tin. It's a modern interpretation of a classic little radio cassette player. I think it did quite well overall. That gets the Fred in the Shed thumbs up. As I say, it's just a little bit more than pocket money. I think the best feature of this, and this might be why you buy it, is the fact that if you have got some pre-recorded old cassettes and you just want to transfer them onto MP3, onto a memory stick or a TF card, seemed to work really easy, didn't it? Done the job really, really well. It sounds all right as well. So there it is. That is the Retekess TR641, available on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go and check it out yourself. Thanks for watching. As always, do appreciate your view time. Never take you for granted on Fred in the Shed. It's a thumbs up from me. Like always, if you get a second, just hit me a thumbs up before you scarper off. I would appreciate it. But as always, please, please, please look after each other. Stay safe. Catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Fred's in the shed where the magic unfolds. Fred in the shed with his trusty CB. He's a friend to the lonely on a frequency.